When it comes to running ads on Facebook and Instagram, 7-figure and 8-figure health and fitness coaches do things just a little bit differently. And how do I know? I've worked with over 50 of them, and I've helped them get to that point and run ads successfully in my little boutique agency. So on this video, I'm going to go through exactly what they're doing that you're not. Let's go. All right, here we go. The first thing is they know their numbers cold. You could ask them if they're out doing anything, say, hey, what's your cost per lead? They're going to know. What's your cost per sale? They're going to know. They know exactly what it takes. Most people don't, especially when they first come to me, they don't know their numbers at all, or they're very little of them. And they don't really understand what it's going to cost to get a sale or what they can actually pay to get a sale. So that's one of the things that we talk about. The other thing is that their decisions are based on data. They're not based on emotion. Now, we might get emotional about ads. I get emotional about my own ads. But we make the decisions on whether or not to turn an ad on, to scale it up, to do something completely cut it off, whatever it is, based on the data. And because they know their metrics, they're never guessing on what to scale or what to cut. That's what you have to do. You have to know your metrics. And so the thing you have to do is just start tracking. If you're not tracking now, sometimes it's a hard habit to get into. So you want to do the basics. If you're running ads, just create a small little spreadsheet. In fact, I have a complete guide. It's called 10X with ads. I'll put the link below, and it has tracking sheets in here. It's completely free, and it teaches you how to do ads and everything. But there's a tracking sheet in the guide, a couple of them actually, where you can track whether you're running ads to your lead magnet or your webinar, or you're trying to get profile visits on your Instagram profile, whatever it is, you can track it. And so you pay attention to it and you have it on the spreadsheet. You're not just looking at it occasionally on your phone or in the ads manager. Jeez. The second thing is that they've mastered one offer before moving on. In other words, every 7-figure business coach that I've worked with, they have built their business around one core offer. And so most people don't get it dialed in. They don't create 10 funnels. They don't create 5 products. They don't go high ticket and then low ticket and then back and forth. They create one flagship offer that converts and delivers, and they just repeat it over and over. Now, once that's solid, okay, then you can build ascension offers and those kinds of things around it, because focus beats variety every time. And the problem is that most people get bored with what they have, or if it doesn't work right away, they don't tweak it long enough, they leave. There's a saying that says, don't leave before the miracle happens. That's what this is. You've got to stay with it and keep focusing on it and keep tweaking it until it works. All right, number 3, they focus real money on data. And what I mean by that is that I will see a lot of stuff, and I even say this myself, you can run $5 a day ads, and you can do that, and you can get some data, and it's good to do it if you've never ran any ads. Run $5 a day ads so that you understand how it works. But you cannot test with $5 a day forever, right? You can't even do it with $50 a day. You have to set aside a real budget, because people who make real money, that's what they do. It doesn't mean you're going to win. It doesn't mean just because you set aside $3,000 this month for ads that it's going to work. So you cannot do grocery money. I always say that. But you have to understand that when you're spending money on ads, you're literally just buying information. And then when something works, that you're ready to go ahead and double and triple down on that immediately, that you're not going to wait on that. Because the difference between what most people do and what these 7- and 8-figure coaches I work with do is the confidence. They trust their system because they earned the data first and they learned what they needed to do. Now the next one, number 4, is tricky because it's about when to hire. Sometimes you need an agency, sometimes you don't. I'm an advocate of you at least learning how to run ads on your own first. It doesn't mean they all have to work perfectly or everything has to go perfectly, but at least understand the basics of it. Now I say that, I do have some people who never learned how to do ads, and they're not going to. So there are exceptions to that. However, by and large, that's what I would do. The ones who fail are the ones who just check out completely. So even the people that hire agencies and are doing really well, they still understand the premise behind it, and they can pick up on it pretty quick, even though they may not be able to input an ad at all. So that's okay. It's smart delegation. not abdication. Okay, you don't want to just let it go and trust that whoever you've farmed it out to is going to do their job, because usually that doesn't work out. You can hand off the work, just not the responsibility. All right, here's number 5. So they treat content like an asset. Everything that they post builds trust and leads back to their offer. It has urgency and they keep on with it. They make it exciting. It's not boring. It's not just a bunch of tips and tricks. That's great, and you do need to have that stuff, but it's about, hey, did you see what this client got done? Or, hey, did you see that we just got done with this challenge and it was so great that we're going to do another one? Or, I just hired this person. She's amazing. I can't wait to bring her on. Y'all are going to love her. See, there's no random trends or filler content. That's not what works out there. Most of them, they repurpose, they batch, and they plan content with a clear goal to get more buyers and not just more followers. It's good to get followers, but you have to have the plan to get more than just followers. Did I say followers? That's a East Tennessee term. It's followers. So they create with purpose, not panic, is what I'm saying. Number 6 is they never stop testing. They test, but it's on purpose, if that makes sense. They usually, almost always, test one variable at a time. Now, I will say this. When testing one variable, that might be one complete ad variable. So in other words, you're testing a video ad with a certain set of copy versus an image with another set of copy. That is one variable. Now, one variable could also be just the headline. So if you did one ad with one headline on it, like a video, and then you did another headline on this, that's another way to do it. You can do that. They don't restart campaigns just for sport. If they find something that's not working, they're not just restarting them to see if they're going to work. That's not really what happens. And they already have what works, so testing is really fine-tuning. What you establish a control fairly quickly on what's working, and then you're trying to beat that control. But they remember that most of the time they're not going to beat the control. So they have that in mind before they start testing. Number 7 is they don't chase scale, they chase stability. They want consistency. They'd rather have consistent 100K months than a 200K month followed by a crash. That makes a lot more sense, and the stability of it makes it a lot easier to run their businesses. So predictability is better than flashy. Right? That's really what it's about. Most people chase the flashy. So scale follows stability. It's not the other way around. Number 8, they're thinking long term. They build email lists. They build communities and systems that outlast the algorithm. So no matter what happens with the algorithm, they can still contact their people. They're still in front of them. They're still able to reach out to them and to do things. They aren't trying to hit it quick and then jump on to the next thing. They're building something that compounds over time. And so every decision has a 12-month lens. It's not a 12-day lens or a 12-hour lens. Okay, that's what most people end up doing. They're paying attention to the bigger picture. All right, let me just wrap this up. And before I do, if you like this kind of content, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love that. Thank you. So 7-figure coaches, it's not magic what they're doing. They're just consistent, and they're data-driven, and they're patient. They're not jumping from one thing to another. You don't have to copy their scale, right? That's not it. You just have to copy their discipline. That's really what it's about, is having the discipline. Okay, I hope those 8 tips were helpful, and I would love to hear from you. So comment if you like and let me know how I'm doing, and I'll catch you next time.